Oh, this is Jack again. Okay, speaking about marijuana, I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, so this substance is plant, any plant of this world that gives you any form of an experience, problem. Because now smoking a cigarette is a different story, but I'll explain that as well. But marijuana is the manifestation of the imprinting of the blueprint signature of systems upon the DNA structure within the human physical body of human beings. I have heard that it is assists for medicinal purposes. Unfortunately, both marijuana and the medication used by pharmaceutical companies are no different. Marijuana might do it in a different experience of while you're using it than medication. I mean, the effects aren't that bad. But nonetheless it does the same thing. It assists with the integration of systems within the human physical body. Now the only difference between marijuana and pharmaceutical companies' medication is the effects thereof, is your experience of it. That's why marijuana is preferred in some doctrines, or human beings just prefer using it than the actual medication, but does the exact same thing. I said the pharmaceutical company's medication is just more harsh, more extensive, more directive, more immediate, while it's like penetrating, like charging the systems, manifesting the systems, integrating them, while marijuana takes the more longer, slower, deep, integrated route. It would be like an elephant and a cheetah running a race. The elephant representing marijuana and the cheetah representing the medications used of the pharmaceutical companies. So the cheetah would go and the elephant would obviously go reasonably slow. I know elephants run fast, but bear with me. Have the elephant not run, have the elephant walk it, okay, while the cheetah goes straight up. The elephant is just browsing around, you know, walking to the finish line. The finish line would be the absolute integration of the systems within the human physical body. Okay, now I've heard, you know, some human beings say that, okay, hear me out. We're not saying if you've got cancer or leukemia or, you know, those huge illnesses, to God knows not go and use medication. We're not saying, okay, you know, don't do that and just die. We're saying the following: if there are human beings in this world that have not yet heard of us, in terms of realizing how they support them, why they have the cancer or the specific illness or disease within their physical human body, and they don't know how to support themselves, and standing up from within it themselves, and so how they cause it, etc., they'll continue using their medication. Their way of what they understand of how to handle the situation they're in. Most human beings that currently have illnesses and diseases will leave. Cancer patients specifically, because cancer is the one thing that in most situations that I understand is not able to be healed. You know, the chemotherapy, let me just explain chemotherapy as a warring topic of cancer here. Chemotherapy merely cuts the cells in half. In other words, it severs a relationship that has been developed within the human physical body that forms cancer. Now these cells lock in together, and that's what forms the disease, within the human physical body, which feeds off the human physical body substance. So what does the chemotherapy do is just cut those relationships in half, but that merely prolongs the situation of the experience the human has of cancer and will inevitably die. So back to marijuana. I know this was a subject, but all in all it's a medical industry subject. So those at this very moment that are in certain tough situations within their world, and do for a moment require to take medication, take it. Because we're in this world at the moment, I'm not going to say to you, fuck, don't take the medication, die. But there is another solution, and that is yourself. And if you've caused it in the first place, if you've caused it, then you must be the solution thereof. And it is possible. And you are able to heal yourself. It's not really healing. It's your self-realization, and illnesses and diseases are merely assisting in that. I don't want to sound contradictory upon this entire situation. We're merely presenting to the world, in terms of medication, what has become of medication and why it's been used. But you're able to get yourself to a point where you're able to use and do anything and it won't affect you. Medication, alcohol, drugs, etc. But before you go out there and test it, before you've gone and done the application, I suggest you apply yourself first and prove it yourself and test. You're able to test yourself. Have alcohol. Look, is it still affecting me? Am I still becoming drunk? Because if you're still getting drunk, I'm not saying doing it every day. People, don't be irresponsible children here. I'm doing it as an assistance for you. So take like every 6 months, have a drink, or 2 or 3, and test yourself. See, how is my application these past 6 months? Am I still getting drunk? Because if you're still becoming drunk with alcohol, know that there's still systems, construct within you that are feeding off alcohol. Also, if you experience pain in your body, first, apply yourself, use your own application with forgiveness and effectiveness, and see how you're able to assist yourself when you experience pain. Don't always resort to painkillers. Painkillers suppress it, and that pain is going to come back every single time until you resolve it within yourself. So, marijuana, I wouldn't suggest it because systems imprint upon the DNA, but if your application is effective, marijuana will not have an effect on you whatsoever. That's where we want to go. If something has an effect on you in any way whatsoever, know that there's a system. Know that you are of a system construct. And it's those systems that you're required to release. So, we're able to experiment. We're not like some goddamn fucking Christian group saying to you, don't drink it, don't do drugs, etc. But be responsible within yourself, in your own process. Understand where your starting point is coming from. If you're doing it from testing yourself, seeing where you are within your process, it's cool. But be responsible. And if you're fucking up, we're here. Don't want to mess with us when you deliberately influence your process. Okay, thank you very much. This is Jack.